Lawyers say a court decision in Melbourne today may set new ground rules for the policing of political protests. The assault and trespass charges arose from a pro-Palestinian protest outside a Jewish business last year. But the magistrate dismissed the charges, ruling the protesters were simply exercising their right to free speech. Peter Carlyon reports.
This is what happened when police moved in on a pro-Palestinian protest outside Israeli-owned city chocolate store Max Brenner last July. The police turned out in force again today at the Melbourne Magistrates Court. But this time the law was not on their side.
Max Brenner, you can't...
In dismissing charges against 16 protesters involved in the skirmish, Magistrate Simon Garnett ruled that those involved didn't threaten the peace or disrupt the public order. They were exercising their human and political rights to free speech. And the police response to some protesters was heavy-handed.
We don't live in a totalitarian regime. This is not Syria or Iraq or Egypt.
The protest was held here on public land. Defence lawyers say today's decision could set a precedent for future clashes between protesters and police in Melbourne, including on picket lines, like the one that's been in place for several weeks at Toll Holdings Coles warehouse in Somerton.
I think it's got very, very wide ramifications. I think firstly, police should not get involved in political protest or industrial disputes of this nature, that they shouldn't be criminalised.
We feel particularly pleased that this result has been made because I think it leads on to affect other questions like Occupy Melbourne.
Officers involved in the case declined to comment. Victoria Police is expected to pick up the legal bill. Peter Carlyon, ABC News, Melbourne.
I think it's got very, very wide ramifications. I think firstly, police should not get involved in political protest or industrial disputes of this nature, that they shouldn't be criminalised. We live in a democratic, robust society in which people should be entitled to express their views. If they oppose the occupation of the Gaza Strip or the West Bank, they should be entitled to say so. We don't live in a totalitarian regime. This is not Syria or Iraq or Egypt, where there is a repression of people. This is Australia, where we should be able to engage in robust debate about these important issues.
Well, I think today is a big victory for the right of people to protest in support of Palestine here in Melbourne. I also think it's a victory in terms of our capacity to protest in places where corporations have previously said that they control it. It's also useful for us to now know that the QV management had no right to say that we were not allowed to express our political opinions within that space.